Power Rangers Universe, Episode 2, Powers from Beyond, Part 2. Written and narrated by Newport. We last left off at Ariatan, where we see the teenagers helping the Morphing Master escape from the Polutos and what they came for. "Guys, wait," said Paige. "We gotta take a break." As they immediately stop to take a break, now that they are far away from Komodo Drone and the Galactacreeps, Corey lays the Morphing Master up against the crates so that he can rest for now until they come up with a plan. "Okay, now that we're away from that lizard-faced robot, maybe now I can process what's going on," Paige says, calming herself down after everything that's going on. Ain't it obvious? We're running away from aliens who want to destroy the universe," said Silas, who has no problem identifying what's going on. "I'm pretty sure it wasn't to destroy the universe, but rule the universe," Liza said, correcting what Silas had said, leaving him a little bit annoyed at the correcting leaving him to say, "What difference does it make? All I know is we're all doomed," he says, almost as if he was accepting his fate. "We're not doomed just yet," said Ross, trying to get him a little bit more hopeful. "What do you mean?" Liza asks. "We still have something they need. Without it, they won't rule the universe," he says, as Corey agrees with him. He's right. They're after the Star Gems, and if they don't have them, they can't do anything. And as Corey was about to finish his sentence, he then remembered something from earlier, and immediately headed back to the resting Morphing Master. "Morphing Master, you said that the Star Gems chose us. Choose us to be what exactly?" he asks the Morphing Master. "I was chosen by my brothers to become the guardian of these gems for a very long time. And I knew that someday that I won't be here much longer to protect them. That's why I'm here, to find new guardians that can protect our universe. And the Star Gems have chosen you to become the new guardians, otherwise known as Power Rangers," he says to the teenagers, who have surprised looks on their faces, leaving Silas asking, "I'm sorry, Power what?" "Power Rangers," Ross said, confirming to Silas. "I've heard stories about them. I didn't know they were real, though." "This is just too hard to believe for me," said Paige, still trying to take in what had happened to them. "At this point, Paige, I don't know what to believe anymore," Liza responds to what Paige has said. "I know this is too much to take in, but it's true. You are the universe's only hope to keep it safe." The five teenagers look at each other with a confused and nervous look in their eyes, wondering what is going to happen to them now that they are chosen. Meanwhile, back on the Poluto ship, we see Spike contacting Komodo Drone through the ship's command deck on the huge monitor, checking on their progress so far. "Have you retrieved the Star Gems yet?" "Well, not exactly. We were about to get them, but..." "What?" Spike cuts in the middle of his sentence with an angered tone. "You reptilian nincompoop! How could you let him get away?" says Spike. "We were ambushed by teenagers," he says in response to Spike. "Teenagers? That's pathetic," he says in disappointment to Komodo Drone. "I can't believe you got outsmarted by a bunch of teenagers." "Please, Spike, give me another chance to find them," Komodo Drone asks Spike, begging for redemption. "Fine. You better find them and bring the Star Gems back, otherwise you'll suffer the consequences," he says, threatening to him. "Yes, sir." After they finish their conversation, Spike stands up from his chair and exits command deck, and walks down the hallway to the ship's medical facility to talk to the ship's engineer/medical expert, Dr. Cranium. He's a green humanoid alien with no nose, but has nostrils, He has gray hair, and his brain is exposed. He wears a black lab coat, and his right arm is robotic.
"Hello, Doctor. How is the commander?"
he asks Dr. Cranium.
He seems to be very stable, but unfortunately, his legs are in no condition to move.
"So he can't walk?"
he asks.
Precisely, but we have a solution that can help him,
he says as he pulls out a schematic of a new type of transportation on his tablet and shows it to Spythe.
This is only a prototype, but if we do it correctly, he should be eligible to move,
Dr. Cranium says to Spythe.
"He'd better,"
he says, intimidating him.
"Now get back to work."
Of course, right away.
He immediately heads into the medical facility to do the procedure to help Commander Exo get back on his feet, sort of speaking. Spythe heads back to the command deck to keep a close eye on the events that are occurring on Aritan. Back on Aritan, Komodo Drone and his squadron of Galactacreeps are still trying to find the teenagers and the Morphing Master who had the Star Gems.
Move it, squid brains! The sooner we find those weaklings, the better I don't get punished for it,
he says, shouting at them to keep searching. Unbeknownst to them, the people they're looking for are hiding behind a couple of crates far away from them. Guys, they're nearby. We need to get out of here now, says Liza, trying to hurry the others. Alright, Ross, help me lift them up. Corey and Ross try to help the Morphing Master get up, but they can't when he collapses back on the ground. I'm sorry, he says to them, who are now worried about his current state.
"But I'm afraid my time in this world is almost ending."
What? All the Rangers say in disbelief. But you can't leave. Corey disagrees with what he is saying. I mean, there's gotta be some way to keep you alive, he says, trying to keep hope.
"I'm afraid not, Corey. I cannot live much longer anymore. My time of protecting the Star Gems are over. It's now up to you five to protect not just the gems, but the universe as well."
Liza shakes her head no while saying, But we can't. Not without you.
"Don't worry,"
the Morphing Master says to Liza, assuring her.
"There's nowhere you five can go where I can't follow. I'll be with you forever, but in spirit."
The five of them looked at each other and smiled, knowing that he was right, until they heard Komodo Drone and the Galactacreeps.
Wait! I hear something! Over there!
The five look beyond and see them with Silas, saying, They're coming! The Morphing Master holds out his hand, which has the Star Gems.
"Quick! Take the gems! You're going to need them."
They each take one of each gem. Liza grabs the pink heart, Silas the blue triangle, Ross the green square, Paige the yellow diamond, and Corey the red circle. Let's go! All five of them head off to face Komodo Drone and the Galactacreeps, while the Morphing Master lays there, knowing that they can do it.
"Good luck, Rangers."
Komodo Drone spots the five teenagers as they step forward to face him and the Galactacreeps.
Aha! Got you right where I want you. Give up the gems,
said Komodo Drone, threatening them. Sorry, but if you want the gems, you're going to have to take them from all five of us, said Corey, being intimidating.
Fine. Have it your way then. Galactacreeps! Take them down!
The Galactacreeps run forward in front of him, ready to attack. Then all of a sudden, the Star Gems started to glow from the Rangers' hands and turned into their individual weapons.
They have weapons? Impossible!
Komodo Drone says in disbelief as the Rangers are in awe of their weapons. This is unbelievable, said Ross. Whether I believe it or not, it's definitely real, said Liza. Do you think we know how to use these weapons? Paige asks the others. Well, I don't know about you, but I've got a spear and I'm not afraid to use it, Silas says with excitement. What are we waiting for then? Let's kick him down the sides, Corey says enthusiastically as the Rangers get in a fighting stance with the weapons in hand.
Attack!
Komodo Drone signals the Galactacreeps by thrusting his blade out towards the Rangers. As both the Rangers and the Galactacreeps begin the fight, the 5 of them split up and go after different groups of Galactacreeps. Paige takes down her group with her universe discs. She swings at them with the blade of the disc. Huh, looks like you squid brains are easier to take down than I thought. Now moving on to Ross, who is taking his group down with his universe axe. He swings it left to right, amazed with what he can do with his weapon. Man, I always wanted to protect the universe, but I never thought I would protect the universe like this, he says as he's blocking an attack from a Galactacreep and then kicks him down. We move on to Silas with his universe spear, sweeping away his group of Galactacreeps. Wow, am I a pro at this or what? He says as a Galactacreep tries to hit him while he's looking away. Whoa! Hey! But Silas strikes back. Don't you know it's not nice to sneak up on people? Moving on to Liza, who's using her bow the best she can in combat, since she wasn't given any arrows. How can someone fight bad guys when they don't even have arrows with their bow? Then all of a sudden, her fingertips start glowing, allowing her to create arrows to fire with her bow. She fires a couple of arrows at the Galactacreeps. Oh, never mind, she says as she fires more arrows at the Galactacreeps. Moving on to Corey, slashing at the Galactacreeps with his saber. I can get used to this, he says with just one more slash from his saber. The Galactacreeps were destroyed from Corey's finish. Yes, he says in celebration. But Komodo Drone appears to intimidate him.
You think you've won? You're wrong.
More Galactacreeps start coming from behind. The others meet with Corey. There's more of them, says surprised Silas. They just keep coming, Liza says as they're approaching. We can still hold them off with the weapons, said Ross, trying to be tough. It's not going to be enough, Paige says honestly to them.
Face the facts. You're surrounded. You've got nowhere to run,
he says to them with arrogance. And in their 5 hands appear the star gems glowing. Then Corey decides to raise his hand with the gem up in the air. The other 4, curious to see what he's going to do, did the same with their gems. They started to glow brighter than ever, so bright that Komodo Drone and the Galactacreeps covered their eyes. We then see that there are stars coming from the gems, and they start illuminating the 5 of them. Then big shapes similar from their gems appear under the feet and start transforming suits on their bodies all the way from bottom up. And the shapes appear in front of their faces, forming helmets, with the shapes turning into the visors of the helmets. After the morphing sequence was complete, Komodo Drone uncovered his eyes to see what had happened to the teenagers.
What kind of power is this?
All 5 Rangers stand strong now that they have transformed into their suits. They all stand in pose in fighting positions. He was right. We are Power Rangers, he says as he breaks his fighting position to marvel at him being the Red Ranger. He then looks at the others in their ranger suits. Paige has become the Yellow Ranger, Ross the Green Ranger, Silas the Blue Ranger, and Liza the Pink Ranger.
Power Rangers, huh? You may have the star gems, but not for long. Get them!
He shouts to the gang of Galactacreeps, signaling them to attack the Rangers. Let's move out! The Rangers spread, taking on different groups of Galactacreeps. Paige charges at her group with her universe discs, slicing them down one by one. She then unleashes her finishing move. Universe disc! Star slice! She throws her discs at them like frisbees, slicing them all to pieces. Moving on to Ross, taking out Galactacreeps with his universe axe. Just one swing? Ha! And I knock you all down. Then Ross unleashes his finishing move to take them all out. Universe Axe! Starquake! He swings his axe down on the ground, forcing it to shake and causing the Galactacreeps to tumble down. Moving on to Silas, who's swinging around his universe spear, sweeping Galactacreeps off their feet. My turn, he says as he unleashes his finishing move. Universe Spear! Star Pierce! He jumps as high as he can and launches his spear at the Galactacreeps and hits them straight forward. Moving on to Liza, attacking with her universe bow, projecting arrows from her fingertips and firing them at the Galactacreeps, knocking them down. And that's just the half of it. She then prepares for her finishing move, involving a big arrow. Universe Bow! Star Blitz! She unleashes her arrow, which turns into multiple arrows hitting all of her Galactacreeps. Moving on to Corey, using his universe saber to slash at Komodo Drone. Now it's just you and me, reptile!
Bring it!
Komodo Drone takes a few swings with his blade, but Corey blocks his attacks with his saber. Corey attempts to strike at Komodo Drone, but he blocks him off.
That's not strong enough!
He says to Corey, kicking him back, causing his boots to skid on the ground, slowing him down a bit. No, but this is... Yeah! Corey says while he jumps in the air with his saber, ready to attack Komodo Drone.
What?
He says, catching himself off guard. Universe Saber! Star Slash! He uses his attack on Komodo Drone, and it hits him, causing him to fall on his back. Corey lands perfectly on his feet after striking Komodo Drone.
This can't end like this!
He says while trying to get up, as the other 4 Rangers join Corey.
I won't go down without a fight!
In that case, you're going down with a finish, said Corey, ready to finish him off with his Universe Saber. Universe Saber! Full power! The gem of his saber glows as its energy starts flowing throughout the weapon. Universe Saber! He forms a circle with his saber, ready to strike at Komodo Drone.
Uh-oh!
Final strike! With one slash with his saber, he finishes off Komodo Drone once and for all.
No!
Back on the Poluto's ship, Spythe is watching from the command deck as he sees Komodo Drone being destroyed, and the Rangers turn their backs away from the explosion that's caused by Corey's attack.
No! They've unlocked the powers of the Star Gems!
Said Spythe in a frustrating tone. Then all of a sudden, a message came from Dr. Cranium in the medical facility on the ship.
Excuse me, Spythe.
What is it?
He asks in anger.
I thought I would come and tell you some good news.
Hearing what he said, Spythe asks,
What kind of good news?
Back on Ariatan, we see all the Rangers unmorphed at the abandoned work site, congratulating each other for beating Komodo Drone and the Galactacreeps. I gotta say, we don't do so bad for a couple of teenagers, huh? Paige asks the others, although she already knows the answer. No kidding! I mean, did you see the way I used that spear? Man, I look so cool! Said Silas, who was too excited after that fight. While most of the group is chatting, Ross realizes that the Morphing Master is still hiding behind the crates, almost losing his living form. Guys, wait! The Morphing Master! He says to them as they immediately realize, and head over to where he was hiding to check on him. Morphing Master? Liza asks him to see if he's okay.
You did it, Rangers. You defeated them.
He says to them in a proud tone, even though he's losing light from his eyes. Yeah, you don't have to worry about those guys anymore, Ross says, trying to assure him.
I'm afraid it's not the end, Rangers,
he says to them, making sure they don't lose focus.
They'll still keep coming, and they will stop at nothing to take the Star Gems.
Is there any way we can stop them? Paige asks the Morphing Master.
The Star Gems have given you incredible power, along with new weapons, but there's still one thing you don't have.
And what's that? Silas asks.
Your Zords.
What are Zords? Liza asks.
Mechanical vehicles that will help you in battle against the bigger threats. The Star Gems will give you the ability to find them.
As he tells him, his body starts to fade away a bit.
I'm afraid my time is up, Rangers. I'll always be watching you, knowing that you are truly the universe's greatest hope.
He then disappears into thin air, leaving the Rangers upset knowing that the being they tried to save is gone. As they look at each other, Paige asks Corey, "Think we'll ever find the Zords?" "Who knows?" he says, responding to her question. "All I know for sure is this. I think the universe is in good hands," he says as he puts his fist out. Then the rest of them do the same. Then they all look above themselves as they see 5 different colored shooting stars flying above in space. Back on the Poluto ship, the command deck doors open as we see Spythe walk in with an unidentified figure behind him.
"It's so great to have you back,"
said Spythe, welcoming him to the command deck.
"Things have definitely changed while you were in commission. For example, the gems are now in possession of teenagers from the planet Aritan. And the worst part? They've become capable of turning into Power Rangers,"
he says in a frustrated tone. Then the figure he's talking to speaks. "Is that so?" We see that the figure is Commander Exo, alive and well, but with a few minor upgrades involving his legs, as they were replaced with a mechanical pod with mechanical crab legs, along with extending claw arms that come from inside the pod. "Well, wait till they get a load of me," said Commander Exo in a sinister tone. He then laughs evilly, knowing that the Rangers are doomed. End of episode 2.